what time it is. It's Lupa, baby, from the booth. When I say pack, y'all say put it on the floor.
Say it with me.
Put it on the floor, pack.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pack.
Hey.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pack. Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pack.
Hey,
Hey, and watch the chat go crazy. Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pack.
Hey.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pack. Receipts on the floor, receipts on the floor,
hey,
hey. And watch the chat go crazy.
She step online and it get real live. Truth so loud, make the whole chat vibe. Trolls act tough till she pull that proof. Lupa gon' play, she the truth in the booth. Receipts in hand, she gon' spin right back. One line drop, make a fake fall flat. No slow talk, she be on gold mode. From Louisiana inner to the whole damn globe. Hey, she coming with facts. Say it wrong, she correct that fast. Put it on the floor, let it shake that screen. Lupa in the spot and watch the chat go crazy.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop.
Hey.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop. Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop.
Hey,
And watch the chat go crazy. Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop.
Hey.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop. Receipts on the floor, receipts on the floor, pop. And watch the chat go crazy.
hold up, who that talking true? Who that clocking T, who make it shake every time?
Put it on the floor, pop. Put it on the floor.
And watch the chat go crazy.
From the boot with the beat in her chest. Truth teller time, yeah, she passed that test. Every time she speak it, shake the whole room. Look, I bring fire, make the trolls go mute. She don't argue, she just drop them facts. Watch the chat explode when she clap right back. No cap stories, no made up scenes. Receipts too loud and watch her chat go crazy. Bounce with it, left, right, move with it, Put it on the floor, let the lights fall through.
It's Lupa, baby.
And watch her chat go crazy.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop.
Hey.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop. Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop.
Hey, and watch the chat go crazy.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop.
Hey.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop. Receipts on the floor, receipts on the floor,
Hey, and watch the chat go crazy. Hey, chat. One more time.
Put it on the floor, put it on the floor, pop.
Hey, and watch the chat go crazy.
Yeah. What she bring?
Back.
What she talk?
True.
Who they hear?
Lupa.
Who they want?
Lupa.
Say it loud.
Yeah.
She don't mumble. Stepping in. Home run, no lies. She dismantle. Every word. Hard handle. Receipts up.
No stall.
Name ring.
Head turn.
She say it. That's law.
Truth hit.
Lesson learned.
What
she do?
Break it down.
What she do?
Break it down.
What she do?
Break it down.
What she do?
Break it down.
What she do?
Break it down.
What she do?
Break it down.
What she do?
Break it down.
What she do?
Break it down.
Then what she do? Break it down. No spin talk. No fake sound. She don't whisper. She lay it down.
Every claim. She press check. Every lie. She correct.
Boot state, backbone strong.
Stand firm.
10 toes on.
She talk one.
That's final.
Lupac voice.
Undeniable.
Yeah. Break it down.
That's Lupac.
Break it down.
Facts only.
Break it down.
Hey y'all, happy Saturday. What is up, everybody? Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for being tuned in on this good old Saturday, baby. This is live number 2 for me, y'all. I actually was going to try to do 3 lives today, but I had to end up pushing this one back up because I got something to do with my mommy. Okay. So yeah, we might have to do the other one tomorrow. But I did a members only live this morning with a giveaway that I had for my members. So this is live number 2 for us today, y'all. This is going to be a very, very, very good live stream. It might be a tearjerker a little bit. Hopefully not, child, but y'all know how it go when we do these type of live streams. I'm supposed to have 2 people joining me on the panel. I seen one was just backstage, but she might have some issues, so she probably going to try to come back in. But anyways, y'all, what else did I want to say? Let me go to the top. Hold on, let me get to the top. I was going to do a live about Because a lot been going on in the YouTube streets. Y'all know Bree got arrested behind her and Janelle and their situation. And I was gonna do a live because the streets been talking, in reference to that whole situation. And I just find it very ironic how, you know, they're saying that people not supporting Bree and this and that and all dragging Janelle, but it's real crazy how we drug Janelle since he entered the saga and said how he was an ain't itch ninja. I know me personally, my opinion of Janelle has never changed. Never changed. I've been saying the same thing about him since the beginning of time. But you can't pick and choose when you want people to put him on a pedestal, and then when y'all together and in the next minute when y'all break up, you want people to drag him. It don't go like that. Once you put your business out here for people to speak on it and they draw their opinion based off of that business that's put out here, it's just that people gonna go with how they feel. Everybody has their own mind. So no, that's weird to me. That is very weird to me. A lot of us, and if you really think about it, it seems like our RH supporters haven't been in more defense of her than her own supporters, because it was the RH supporters that was telling her to leave him the hell alone. So, child, anyways, that's like beating a DEAD horse at this point, y'all. So we're gonna stick to something that's actually of relevance and more important, real victims and survivors when it comes to the whole DV aspect. Okay, real women take real accountability and learn real lessons. They move on and they keep it pushing. That's it. That's all. Especially when you have children in the midst of it. All right. So let me see who we got in here so we can get it started. Amber, I see you backstage. Just hold tight. Let me do my intro and then I'm gonna bring you up. You must have used StreamYard before because you came up here with no issue. All right, let's see. Hey, R Buttercup. Hey, Miss Renee. Shout out to my Dream Star for that membership. We got Last Chance. We got Gemini Rising and Lion Aura. Sweet Queen. Shout out to you and all my beautiful minds that's in the building. Miss Yolanda. We got Erica. We got Miss Lysander. You say, hey, Lupac, I'm going to say this. All the CC who supported RH been saying this ish, and I hope they don't touch this ish because Bree is never wrong. Let them tell it. All she does is destroy. You know what? And that's after I thought about it, Miss Lysander, you got a point. Like, you really have a point because, y'all, I was watching Tasha K live last night, and I was not expecting that, but Tasha K added their Bree and Janelle situation to the segment, and she drugged Bree for filth in front of thousands of people. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's a never-ending story. It really is. It's a never-ending story. It's never-ending drama. Every time you look around, it's something different. With that whole storyline that hits the internet, and it's just crazy. Like, it's never a different resolution. It's never a resolve. It's always blame shifting and all of that. So, child, a whole hot ass mess. Okay. But anyways, we're going to try to focus on something, like I said, of relevance, real victims, real survivors, because they deserve to be highlighted. They really do, y'all. Like, they deserve to be highlighted. And I'm going to try to bring this more often to my platform because I have a lot of women that follow me. Y'all, when I made that post on my community wall about doing this panel, I got so many emails. It was overwhelming. I was like, oh, wow. Some willing to tell their story, some afraid to tell it. But at the end of the day, for the ones, like I said in the email, if you are afraid, if you're not ready, if it's a sensitive topic, then we're going to be here. When you're ready to speak on your story, we will be here. Hey, Miss Angela B. Hey, Sweet Queen. Hey, Tyrese with the T. Shout out to you for that membership. Trice, shout out to you. Boss Lady, member for 23 months. We got Nikki. We got Get Right with LB. Thank you, Secrets and Side Eye, for that super. I appreciate you, my love. We got Miss Geraldine, Jaisha, Latrice, Miss Dee. We got Miss Teresa, Miss Deborah. We got Miss Amina, Miss Sheila. We got Caramel in the building. Sunflower, Miss Lenora. We got E. We got Miss Martha. We got Miss Renee, Admire Me, K Monet, Miss Darlene, Miss Lolita, Christina. Okay, Charlene, Scorpio Steen, Show Nuff. Who else? Let me see. K Brown, Miss Sonia. We got JJ, and thank you, JJ, for that Cash App blessing you sent me a little earlier. I appreciate you, my love. You say I call myself taking a break from YouTube, but fell out the bushes in someone chat speaking on RH. People need to leave him out of Bree Nouchette. That's her karma and it has nothing to do with him. I agree. I don't feel like he should constantly be drugged into the situation. Even though y'all know when I would do content on it, I would reference, what happened in his storyline to show a pattern, but he deserves to be left out. He done been through enough. Okay? He done been through enough, child. Hey, Miss Shalee. Hey, Miss Patricia. Hey, Manifestations of God. We got V Martin. Who else? Let me see. K Monet. Let me go down. Miss Tracy, Miss Nancy, Miss Lenora. Miss Lenora, make sure you check my community wall because you was one of the winners. Hey, Shaquintley. Okay, Michelle the Bell. How did you change it? Yeah, I changed it because I got something to do. And then the weather getting bad, y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear, but it's storming here. So hopefully it don't mess up my live stream. Hopefully it does not mess up my live stream, child. Hey, Michaela. Hey, Regal. Hey, Renee. Hey, Miss Michelle. Last chance. Miss Witty. Miss Diggs. We got Tawana. Miss Jackie. We got Courtney. Shout out to my green team. Crease Conversation Lounge in the building. Salida R. Buttercup. Keisha T. Miss Pamela Punana, a member for 19 months. Shout out to you, Miss Lorinda, Rakita, Miss Shannon, Chosen by God, Renita, Sugar Pop, Miss Glenda, Miss Mercedes, Snooki, and a collective hey to everybody else that's coming through. I see y'all and I appreciate y'all. Shout out to all my moms that's always in the building. If you would like to donate to me monetarily, you can cash at me $Lupac2. You can also buy me a coffee. Shout out to the coffee people that support that app. You can also support the platform by getting a super chat or a super sticker. Y'all know I always set a little goal. It ain't much, it ain't mandatory, but it's greatly, greatly appreciated because it contributes to the revenue of this particular live stream. You can also support me by getting a membership. Shout out to the green team for holding it down, period. Please, y'all, watch them ads as they come through. Please hit that like button. And at the end of this live stream, hype your girl up. Y'all know the vibes, okay? Y'all know the vibes. Thank you, Calm. Starting the super chat goal off. Thank you, my love. I appreciate you. All right, y'all. So I have one young lady up here that will be joining us to tell her story. Her name is Amber. Let me add her to the stage. The other lady, she responded last night and said she was going to be here, but I had switched the time because I was trying to do 3 lives today, y'all. But I had to, cancel one of them and I pushed them back to this time because I didn't want to miss out on this conversation. Okay, so hopefully she sees it and joins us. If not, I might have to do hers on another day. We'll see because I'm waiting for her to respond. But one of the ladies is here. Let me add her up. Hold on. Hey, Miss Amber, how you doing, lady?
Good. How you doing, Lupac? How everyone?
I am good. Thank you so much for joining us. I got to do my little disclaimer. I know you've been supporting me for a good little minute. You got a little background noise.
Okay, I'm in a
Do you have YouTube open on? You have YouTube open on on your phone?
Let me see. I might do. I'm hoping I don't drop out trying to do this.
Oh shoot. Okay, she gonna come back, y'all, because she had some feedback. So she probably had YouTube still open or whatever. So we're gonna wait for her to come back up. You said if you're not a member, become one. That's it. Thank you, Myla. Thank you, Tamika. I love y'all more. The Woodards. Shout out to y'all. I'm so excited for this live, y'all. I ain't did one like this in a little minute. And it's always intriguing and, it just feels good to hear people speak out. Okay, I see you. You want to keep your camera on or you want to turn it off? Hold on, y'all. Okay, it's not moving. Can you hear me, Miss Amber? I don't know, y'all. It froze. Her end froze. StreamYard got to fix these issues. I cannot stand StreamYard. They are too expensive monthly wise for them to have these type of issues. What is going on? Okay, I see you. You want me to add which one? I see you up here twice. I might have to take this one down. Let me add this one. Okay, let me take your other one down.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so like I was saying, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I do hear echo still. Do you? Okay, listen. Before you drop down, do you have YouTube open on your phone?
I checked it. I don't.
You don't?
No.
Okay. Okay, let me see.
I'm in a restaurant. When does that make it? Because I'm trying. My grandbaby's out there, so I'm trying to.
Oh, that's probably what it is. Okay, that's fine. So, I'm pretty sure you know how I go on YouTube. Certain words you can't say, so
Yeah.
maybe just kind of switch the word up when it comes to Bruce, actual, pew pew when it's involving a GUN and all of that, because YouTube is very, very sensitive, and yeah, they don't play about certain words, unfortunately. Okay.
Yes,
So yeah,
yes,
just kind of, go with the flow with that. But
so
let us
so you
know like about your situation, Miss Amber. I'm a mute so you can talk.
okay. Well, just to start off, I was married twice, but just to go for my first marriage, because that was the one that was really abusive. That's the one I was married with and it's my kids' dad, but they're all grown now. We're divorced. We've been divorced for years. But it's like when we first, got together, it was I was right out of high school. I met him when I was 19 years old. We started dating and whatever, and I ain't gonna lie, not too long after being fast or whatever, ended up pregnant with my first child. I had my son at 20. I saw signs and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I was just hard-headed. I was young, wanted to be with someone, just in a relationship. And even before the marriage, he showed signs. He showed things of like, he was, how can I say, like he wanted to tell me what to do or whatever.
Controlling.
Kind of manipulative. Yeah, ma'am.
You said control. He was controlling and
Yeah, there you
manipulating.
go, controlling. Yes, manipulating, controlling. Yes. And I saw this, and I like I said, I was young. My mom was trying to tell me, like, you might need to get out of this. This is my first son, my first child. Then, I had him in 95. I had my second child. She was my oldest daughter. I had her in 97. Right after that is when we got married. And the thing is with him, like, we stayed with my grandmother at the time. And I guess he felt like, coming from his background, I could say he really didn't have that lifestyle of, like, I guess, of being obedient in a relationship or being, loyal in a marriage or whatever. But even then, like, I would see stuff like stepping out, just wanted to do what he wanted to do, hanging with his friends, no responsibility of the kids or whatever. He wanted to do what he wanted to do. By then, we had already had a couple of little fights or whatever, but the main one was like when my third child was born. This is the one I remember the most because it was the most awful. Like, me and her was sick with a stomach bug. And at the time, I think she was like probably 1. And he was still going out and stuff, doing what he wanted to do. I'm trying to take care of her 3 kids and myself with this being sick like this. So he left, and right after that, he ended up with the same thing. So I would go visit. I left the house and went to visit my mom to take my oldest 2 over there so she could keep them. I come back home. I guess he's mad because I don't left him at the house. So he gets mad. He starts saying, "Where you been? You been with somebody else?" I'm like, "I've been nowhere. I've been at my mom's house." So all of a sudden, I'm sitting there with my baby in my hand, and I'm sitting in the couch. He comes behind me on the couch and just punches me on the side of my face. So now I'm standing up with the baby in my hand. She's hollering, she's screaming. I'm trying to protect her. And I had to actually put her down because he just went nuts. So by this time, I had to get her and run out the house. We did call, the police or whatever, but that was one of the occasions. And it was like one time he I came over to the house one time to see him. And I guess he was mad because I popped up because he had another woman over there. This we had kind of separated after this. I was living with my mom. I come over there, I pull up, I turn around, he has a pew-pew in my face. So I just looked, my friend in the car, she's looking like, "Widow, what's going on?" Like, I'm like, I couldn't do nothing but just sit there. So by that time, he grabs me, throws me on the ground. He still got the pew-pew in my face. I get up, I run, I get in her car, and we take off. But it's so much like that was going on in that relationship. So I finally my mom just had me down like, "Look, if you don't get out of this, it's not going to end good." So one day he had left and went when his friends went somewhere, but he was gone for like several days. He would do this all the time, like leave for several days when he left.
How long was you in that marriage?
The marriage was, it was like from my baby, she was when we married, my oldest daughter was an arm baby. She was born in March, so we married him. So he was 2 months, and I think we divorced. I want to say I think my baby girl was 3. So no, we weren't kind of matched like about 4 or 5 years, but
4 or 5 years. Okay.
yeah.
And
but the relationship was a little longer, because I had 3 kids out of it.
Okay, so you was with him for a while before y'all got married.
Yes, man, because we had 2 kids before we got married.
And the Bruce was consistent throughout the whole relationship.
Yes, he was like not only physical, it's also verbal as well. Like he would say stuff like, even before we got married, my youngest son, say for instance, I stayed with my grandma when I was married, when I had my oldest son. Mm-hmm. He would just like, I'd be taking care of my child, he'd be calling all day. What are you doing? Trying to see what I'm doing, trying to see if I'm on the phone with somebody, and just calling the whole time I'm at the house, just stuff like that, just trying to, I guess, then just like anything I would say, he wouldn't believe it. If he come over to the house, the phone ring, he thinking somebody, he trying to snatch the phone. I mean, it was just, not tell you, it was just constant.
A lot of control.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing when you're dealing with abusive relationships. Manipulation and control is two of the biggest characteristics of that person, of the abuser. Were there points in the relationship where you actually got away, and then what made you go back, if so?
Yeah. Like that incident I was telling you about when he punched me in the face. And it was so sad, I'm bad about it, because my dad and everybody came help me move everything out. Like, I ain't gonna lie, they helped me move everything out. I had been gone for like a month, and of course he's calling. I miss my family. I want y'all back. And that's how they get, just keep calling. And I promise you I'm going to do better this time. I'm going to put my hands on them all. And yes, I went back right after that. And my mom, she was so hurt. But, at the time, you're not thinking, and you just wanting your marriage to work. You're not thinking about being in that kind of headspace, young with 3 kids. You're already scared that you by yourself with these kids. You're scared you're going to have to do everything on your own, and you go back because you just want to be with the dad, because all of us was about him. And it wasn't long after got that. Like, I'm not like, he would leave us in the house by ourselves with no food. I would have to call a friend of ours. She would have to bring us, stuff with food and the baby's milk and stuff like that. And I didn't want to call my mom and dad again, because now he got me what he wants, because now I done left and came back over here. So now they're like, he's thinking like, oh, you stupid, come back. They ain't gonna come be jumping for you like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're thinking. Like, I done came back now. I'll be stupid if I call somebody to come help me now. So now you got to figure out how to take the rights. One time, I ain't gonna lie, I had to go take my kids to a little food pantry so we could eat, because there was nothing there. But I stayed the whole time. I right now, I can't explain it, y'all. But that's just the mentality you're in when these men, when you're in a abusive situation like that. They constantly think you can't have no one else, that you can't do nothing, you can't do no better than them. Especially if you have more than 1 or 2 children, they really have you in that headspace like, oh, without me, you ain't gonna have nobody. But you just have to be strong enough to pull yourself from it, and family, family is big on that, have support. A lot of people don't have support. They're gonna stay in that marriage or that abusive situation. I'm sorry. In that abusive situation a lot, because they don't feel that they have no support. But my mom, my grandma, my dad, and all them, they held it down for me. And I finally just had to, like I said, had to just pack all his stuff and take it to his uncle's house and leave it there, and that was it. I had to not take him back. And I went and filed for the divorce. He didn't show up for court, none of that. But I got divorced by default. But after that, and ever since then, he wasn't really in my kid's life. But I never bashed him for not being there. They're just now seeing as grown people, grown adults themselves, like what type of person he is. But I never, and they always say, you never, say anything bad. You just let us see on our own how he is. And not to be funny, not to speak on his next relationship, but the same situation in the next relationship has happened several times as well. So it really is a pattern with them. It constantly goes.
It doesn't stop. The cycle of abuse never stops. It'll slow down. It might be periods where you're not experiencing it or happy times, and that's what a lot of women mute real quick, Miss Amber. That's where a lot of women don't realize is that it's like a trance, like you're in a trance throughout their relationship, and women tend to hold on to the good parts of it, thinking that it will last or outweigh the bad parts, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It's just like a little factor that's contributed to keep you there, but it does not last, unfortunately. Okay. Um, Anybody else that want to come up? Because the other lady, like I said, she must have never seen my email from this morning. So if you want to come up on this live and tell your story, email me real quick and I'll send you the link. If I have anybody in the chat that has a story to tell where they had to take some form of accountability, or even if you contributed to the toxicity. Okay, I know we have a lot of victims / survivors that um caught the I don't even know how to put it, child, that didn't contribute to it. But if it's anybody in the chat that contributed to the toxicity, whether it be you ended up, because I remember doing a live stream one day and I had some ladies that were saying, I think it was on a live with Chandra, some ladies were saying how they went to jail, different situations like that, where you were a victim of the abuse, but you ended up doing something that got you in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be you STABing him, or something happening with your kids, and then you ended up reacting out of hurt and anger, and you had to learn a hard lesson from it. Please email me also so we can hear your story if you're not afraid to tell it. Miss Nancy said she would like to come up. Okay, Miss Nancy, email me. I put my email in the chat. Just go up a little bit in the chat and you'll see it, and I'll send you the link. Miss Amber, so were there any other points where I heard you got to the end of it, which was like the divorce or whatever, you kind of summed it up, but were there any other points where it was like a kind of like a back and forth with you, a bruise happening and you leaving and then going back, or it only happened one time, meaning you only took him back one time, or did it continue? Was it a cycle?
No, I took his stuff back several times. Like I said, even before the marriage, like there was already stuff going on. Like we would get into it. The first time he put his hands on me is when I was pregnant my son. We was in the car and we just got into I can't remember it was something real small, and he just hauled up and slapped me, like, and I went home that night. I said, the relationship was over, of course. That's when it first started. That's the first time, and he kept calling, he crying, calling back, coming over to the house, saying, he was just under a lot of pressure, nervous, scared about the baby and all this stuff. But it was just stuff like that. Like then on top of that, I'm not gonna lie, probably, it was times like even when I think felt even during the relationship, was times like he probably didn't want to come back, and I probably was the one, we need you here, come back, don't leave. You get to that point too where you're begging them back at times as well, because you're scared of being alone.
Well, not just that, it all falls under the cycle, the manipulation that causes the trance and all of that. It's a lot of women that feels like he's superior because of the things that go on in the relationship. So it causes women to feel like, especially if you don't know no better, or if you was, I feel like a lot of it stems from childhood trauma. If you was raised a certain way, or you was surrounded by that type of behavior in your household coming up, a lot of times women tend to think that that's the way of life, right? Hold on real quick. Janae, I pinned your super chat, and I know it was in reference to the Bree and Janelle situation. So Miss Amber was talking, so I replied to it in the comments, but I didn't get a chance to reply to it, speaking or whatever, because I didn't want to interrupt her talking. But what did you say? I can't remember, child. It was a little while ago, but I did have it pinned on the screen. I think you asked if she's lying because she's saying something about people don't know the whole story, and I basically said in the comments that she will say whatever to victimize herself. Okay, that's my answer to your super, my love, and thank you. I appreciate you, and thank you, Toya, as well, for blessing your girl. All right, I see y'all hitting. I'm about to check my email. Okay, so what was I saying about that? Yeah, it's all a part of the cycle. You know what I'm saying? Like but eventually, and here's the crazy part, y'all. When you go through an abusive situation, whether it be a couple months, whether it be for years, whatever, once you get out of it, I mean, really, really heal from that situation and get out, you start asking yourself questions like, what the hell was I thinking? That's when you start realizing how much like you deserved better, your kids deserve better, all of that. Okay, I'm pretty sure you got to that point eventually, right, Miss Amber?
Yeah, and that you're right about that. And just to backtrack on what you were saying earlier, it definitely has something to do with childhood trauma. I'm gonna tell you that, because dealing with stuff in your past, you feel like you just trying to find something. I can't describe it right now, but dealing with, I was molested as a little girl, whatever, and that plays a figure. And then and I'm gonna tell you something. I try not to tell people about that anymore, because even in that relationship, when we was getting arguments, he would bring that up and throw that back in my face. Like, that's why this happened to you. That's why stuff like that happened to you. Anything that they can to tear you down, he's going to use it. But like you said, your children, you have to stay strong for them, because I think that's what I know that was my motivation to pull myself out, because you can't stay in a relationship like that, especially with a boy and two girls, and expect them to, when they grow up, to know how to treat or be treated in their relationship. You got to pull yourself out, because staying in stuff like that and they see that around them, it's going to continue. It's like a domino effect. You got to get yourself and be strong and get yourself out of that, so that they can have peace in their surroundings, have peace in your surroundings, mentally, physically, whatever. And just, they have to be a motivation to get out of that.
Yep. And that's true. And I'm glad you spoke on being emmed as a child, because that can bring you into play a part in you being attracted to toxicity. And not even just toxicity, y'all, because a lot of times abusers wear a mask. They wear a mask in the beginning, and you're attracted to the mask and not the actual person, right? And then over time, whether it be early on or later on down in the relationship, you start seeing the true colors. You start seeing the person for who they really are. And if you have experienced some type of childhood trauma, then, like I said, it plays a major part in what you allow later on in life, especially if you're not healed from your trauma. And like the saying says, you're not responsible for your trauma, but you are responsible for your healing, right? And that's a true statement, because it can carry over. You'll carry over a lot of that baggage. That trauma just gets packed on top of trauma over and over. And abusers tend to use your trauma. This is why I'm a firm believer in, even though it could go either way, but I feel like it goes the worst way more often than not. When you tell the person you end up, dating or getting married to, whatever, a lot of times when you tell your partner, or who's going to potentially be your partner, about your trauma or your past, they tend to use it against you in certain instances of anger, right? Like an argument. Oh, this is why this happened. Da, 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 da. Especially trauma. And it's so unfortunate, because you're not responsible for that trauma. You are not responsible. If something happened to you as a child, you cannot control that. You cannot control being emmed as a child, being taken advantage of as a child. That is not your fault. You cannot control what a grown MFer does to you as a child. And it's so sad that people play on situations like that, especially partners in relationships, using that as emotional mechanism to trigger a person or to make them feel it's unfortunate, because a lot of women believe that they deserved it because their partner is saying it, because your partner is supposed to love you. Your partner is supposed to be the one to protect you emotionally and physically. So that's one of the reasons why women believe it when it comes from their partner, because Once they become your partner, they have a job. It is your job to protect me physically and emotionally. Not only from outside predators, but yourself. Yourself as well. Y'all, oh child, y'all, this conversation right here needs to be had. Okay. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. I'm here, Lupac. The link did not work in my email. It didn't. Hold on. Let me see. Go ahead, Miss Amber. You have anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to say, y'all just look, if you have the warning signs, please pay attention, because that's my biggest thing. Now, I was married again after that. I've been divorced from my second marriage since 2017. And when I tell you, if them two didn't teach me nothing, they taught me what to look for in a no good man. I'm telling you that.
Listen.
I see it straight up now. And I let my daughters know, like, they'll tell, and they be like, how did you know? I know. I pay attention now to everything. Them red flags, I don't play around with them no more. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But that's all I wanted to say.
You can't. You gotta pay attention to the red. You cannot ignore the red flags. Do not give benefit of the doubt at all. Like, I don't believe in once you see it, believe it. Because a lot of times it's God, especially if you a spiritual person, or you the type of person that prays over yourself, prays over the people you interact with, or just whatever. Believe the signs. Don't ask God for a sign, then ignore it. Don't believe it every single time, because you never know what you could be getting yourself into. And use your former relationships as a sign as well. Use that as a sign as well.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I said. You got to pay attention to that, because they gonna show you who they are every now and then. A little bit of them gonna come out. I promise you, it's gonna come out.
True.
But I just want to say thank you. I was nervous. I'm sorry if I went all over the place, but I was so nervous.
That's fine. I understand. Trust me.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me send this. I sent it again. Granny's World. I don't want to put it in the chat because y'all, those weirdos be grabbing the link and joining the panel, and sometimes they'll take y'all profile pictures and show the profile picture in the back or whatever, and to make you add them to the panel, and then they start showing nudity and stuff. So that's why I never drop my links in the chat anymore, because it didn't happen to me before. But I emailed you again, Granny's World. Check it real quick. Yep, but like I said, y'all, don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore the warning signs, the red flags. Please do not ignore. Take it as it is. If your gut is telling you something ain't right, believe your guts. I promise you, you will much rather go with your right mind than taking a chance on something not being right, and then it causes you years of pain. And it's hard to get over trauma. It takes even longer. Something can happen to you in one day, and it takes you years to get over it. If you know, you know. So trust the plus, y'all. You got to go with your first mind. What else I wanted to say? It was something about masks. Oh, and also if you see a person, like I said, a lot of times when you dealing with abusive people, not just men, because men get abused also. And I wish I had posted about this a while back, but I'm gonna have to make that happen, doing a panel with men as well, because I had a few men that said, they had some stories, child. Okay, because it can happen to them as well. It ain't just the women. But a lot of times they'll wear a mask and they'll present Prince Charming. If it's too good to be true, 9 times out of 10 it is. Okay. So, but if you one of those people that, the mask comes off before the feelings get involved, run. Don't give the benefit of the doubt. Don't be like, oh, it just, people make mistakes. It's just something. It ain't too much. I can keep. No, run, because it will get worse. So if it's already worse in the beginning and you stick around, I could only imagine how it's going to be later on down the line. Okay, so did you ever have a situation where your kids were involved or in the midst? Because, I know a lot of times when people are in an abusive situation, sometimes, you might have sons that'll try to defend and end up getting hurt, or they'll just be in the midst. Like you said, you were sitting on the couch and he started punching you in the face while you was holding y'all baby. Were there any other situations like that where your
No,
kids was in the
nothing.
midst?
No, nothing like that. That probably was the only time he really tried to do anything around the babies. Like I said, the oldest two was with my mom. She was the only one having to be there at that time. But as far as I can remember, most of the time when stuff like that happened, they wasn't too much around at that time. It was like more we was by ourselves, or or on the phone, anything like that. But most of the time, he really didn't do. That was the only time I remember that he hit me around any of the kids. He didn't really do it. It was mostly like we was by ourselves, we was out somewhere with friends, or just stuff like that. That's what he did. But like I said, most of the time it was most cheating, or wasn't around or anything like that. That's when he mostly did stuff like that.
Okay.
He didn't really. That's the only time I can remember that he really hit me around the kid.
Well, I'm so glad that you was able to get away from those situations, that you didn't, it took a little minute, but it's understandable, y'all. Listen, I don't like to judge women for sticking around, but I hate to see situations where kids are involved and women choose the man over their kids. Now that I'm a little more harsh on when it comes to criticism, because it's like once you start having kids, you're supposed to put your babies first. Mute if you don't mind, Miss Amber. You got a lot of background noise. That's okay. I see you up here, Granny's where I'm gonna add you in a second. Give me a second. Yeah, once you start having kids, y'all, put them first. Kids don't ask to be here. And I understand how men can make you weak sometimes, how you could be in situations where, like I said, once you get with a man that's your partner or whatever, you are supposed to be able to trust that person. You trust them with your mental, you trust them with your physical, all of that. So they are supposed to be your protector. And that's why it's so confusing, especially if you wasn't brought up the right way. If you was a product of your environment and that environment was toxic, then that's what you look for. Like they say, a girl's first love is her father. And if you in a household where you see your father being abusive to your mother, then guess what? You're going to think that's normal. You're going to think that's how the love is supposed to be, how that the man is supposed to love you later on because you seen your daddy doing it to your mama, and that's not the case. That's not the case. So it goes all the way back, unfortunately, but thank God a lot of those generational curses as far as abuse is being broken. It's a lot of women that's breaking those cycles because they don't want their kids to experience that, or they don't want certain things going on in front of their babies. Shout out to those. Miss Amber, thank you so much for joining us and telling us your story. I'm glad you are at a place of, moving forward and healing. You have removed yourself from the situations that hindered you, that, mess with you mentally, physically, that was abusive. Shout out to you. You are not a victim. You are a survivor. Okay, period.
Thank you, Liv.
Period, my girl. Thank you.
I want y'all down to just listen now.
That's fine. Have a good day. Okay.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. So now we have, let me remove Miss Amber. Okay, she gone. Now we have Granny's World. Shout out to my girl. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Are you guys able to hear me fine?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining. I was a little worried because I know it was on me. I switched the times twice because I'm like, oh, God, I always end up having something to do or whatever, get busy. But I'm so glad you was able to join us and you didn't have too many issues. Now, I will give a little disclaimer, even though I'm pretty sure you already know because you guys already follow me. Y'all know the keywords. YouTube is very sensitive. So if you saying a bruise, the A word, say a bruise. If you want to say something along the lines of actual assault, like this actual, I try to say actual assault. Follow my lead when it's involving the M word, just say molestation. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like switch it up to play with YouTube's algorithm so they don't hit us with a demonetization, baby. Okay. But thank you for joining us. Let us know your story, my love.
Okay. Well, first off, thank you so much. And I understand I've been following you for I think, since the original saga started, and I've always been a bit bushwasher. So I appreciate it, and it's nice to grace your stage today. So
Thank
hello to
you.
everyone in the chat. So I guess I'm gonna go. I'm a seasoned woman, and I'm gonna go back to the '80s. And back in the '80s, I was a 16, 17-year-old young lady, and the Rugs was very, it was moving through the cities and the towns and things like that. So I just so happened to meet a guy who was highly indulging in the Rugs as far as distribution. And back then, it was the Fidel Sassoons, the Fila shoes, and things were really, really expensive, and the money was there. I was driving around in a 500 SCL with a spoiler kit on it, candy apple
Ooh.
red. I mean, this man, now at the time that I met him, he told me he was 21 years old. Well, come to find out, he was 8 years older than I was,
Oh,
which
wow.
not a good situation. But back then, I guess that was the thing. And I was in high school. So moving along, the game was really good. I became a rafficker, trying to
Mhm.
size the word. And
Thank you.
no problem. I became a rafficker and, coast to coast, state to state. And, I never got caught, and I was carrying loads, and it was all fun, not knowing the dangers in it. Um, when I was doing that,
Oh, push pause, Granny. You
okay,
was a big dog. I was not expecting this. You
yeah,
said you had a story to tell, but I was not, y'all. This, ooh, child, listen, I'm ready for this because we don't hear stories like this often. We often hear, like I said, statistically, is more often with the woman being the victim of abuse or whatever, but you rarely hear stories where the woman is running things. Like, you know, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no,
I got a little excited because I'm like, hold up. Where's she going with this? Go ahead, my love.
I just recently started to, in the last couple years, start to tell my adult children about my past, so to speak. So everything was, all going well, and the money was there. And I mean, he was really, really big. So me being his main girl, I thought, when you're in that type of a situation, these men have other women that you eventually find out about. So I found out that he was a cheater. By this time, I'm 18, and I just had my first child. So I stayed in it and stayed in it. Of course, I wasn't a runner anymore. So I was more into, okay, I have a child. I need to do things a little bit different for my son. And I went into nursing school. I used some of the money to go to nursing school. He didn't want me to do that. So now at this point, I'm maturing, even though I'm still young, and I'm trying to move on for the sake of our son. Well, he didn't like that. And for me, moving on was moving on with school and getting some credentials under my belt. I started to meet different people, professionals, and people who really had their stuff together. So I started to meet other men who desired me, who thought that I was smart and wise and witty. And I broke up with him. And that was the worst thing that I could have ever done at that time. Um, he used to stalk me. He used to hide in trees to wait till I come home so that he could beat me. I did fight him back. And the reason that I fought him back was to save my life, because I grew up in a domestic violence home, and it happened every weekend with my mother and her then significant other. And at 12 years old, I always questioned, why didn't she leave? Why is this so toxic? And at 12, I said, if something like this, God, if you bless me to become a mother, I'm going to protect my children. I'm not going to stay in this type of a situation. And if a man tries to harm me, then I would do what's necessary, even if it costs me my life. So moving forward, when I tried to move forward with my life, enter into different, relationships and trying to establish myself as an independent young woman, he kidnapped me and he put me in his car, locked the doors. And back then he had a 1982 Camaro, and it was a 2-door kind of like sports car. And he had the locks where I couldn't even unlock the doors, but he got on the freeway and was going at least 80, 90 miles per hour, trying to unlock the door and push me out of the vehicle. So I could have lost my life then, but
wow.
I didn't. So after doing that, he beat me in the car, took me home. Then here comes the apologies, the I'm sorry, I love you, so on and so forth. And as time went on, because he was still indulging, with the running of the rugs, I just felt like, well, maybe he does love me. And then the money was there. So I was like, maybe it's meant to be. We do have a child. I'm trying to put myself through school and, he's helping me. So I literally stayed in it for about 6 more years. And it got to a point where I decided I couldn't take it anymore. The beatings, I did fight back. But a woman could never overpower a man. No matter what it was that I did, he would always hurt me. I never called the police or anything. The beatings just kept coming and kept coming. So finally one day I was able to get away and move out. Thought we were good. He said, I'm not going to bother you. So he had other women still, and these other women was his other children's mother. My son was the 3rd child. So he decided to get with the 4th child's mother and live with her. Once I moved out from him, I still had mail. And back then, I would admit I got food stamps, and they used to call it a county check, where they used to mail you the checks in the mail on the 1st and the 15th of the month. And my mail was still going to his residence because I didn't want my checks to stop. So when the 15th of the month came, I went over to get my check, knocked on the door. He opened up the door and I saw the baby's mother living there. He disrespected me. He pushed me down a flight of 15 stairs, called me every name under the book. At this point, as the young people say now, I crashed out.
Oh my God. All because you found the other woman there?
Well, I didn't crash out because I was literally done. I didn't crash out because the other woman was there.
No, I'm meaning he did all of that to you because you
Yes.
found. Okay.
Yes, he did. And I was totally embarrassed. He belittled me and made me feel like crap. And yes, you have children with the both of us, but like I was there. Do you remember what happened, and what I did for us and, and all of this? And because now that I'm done and you're quote unquote in love with her and you're going to be with her, so you're showing me all of this disrespect, push me down, first he pushed me down the stairs, slapped me first, pushed me down the stairs, and then he slammed the door. At this point, I'm at the bottom of the stairs. And I don't know what took over me, but I needed revenge at this point. Oh, God. So I went in the back where I parked my car, and his car was there. I had a mail opener. It was silver, long, very sharp. And I decided to just walk around his vehicle, scratch it, all of this stuff to his vehicle, and then poke all 4 of his tires. And apparently, the girl, his child's mother, probably said, you better go down there. She might be doing something to your car. So as I'm pulling out, My driver's side window was halfway down, and he came running out up to the car. And I don't know, it was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He stuck his left arm in there to punch me, basically to mess my face up, black eye. In the process of him doing that, I had a brand new box cutter in my glove compartment. And again, it was 5-4. It happened so fast. While his arm was in motion, my arm was hitting the glove box, and it flapped down, and I whipped out the box cutter, and his hand was hanging at that point.
Oh my God.
Ugg started shooting everywhere, and I sped off.
Oh wow.
What
And he
happened?
was wait, so did he fall off the vehicle or he was still hanging like on to holding
He
on
was
to?
in shock. I don't think I saw what happened. I was doing it so he wouldn't hit me. I don't think that he knew it was to that bad of extent
Yeah.
until I screamed and he saw the blood and saw his right wrist hanging, literally.
Oh.
And I drove off. I speeded out. So now I'm shaking like, oh my God, oh my God. Did I just do that? I'm in the panic because this wasn't supposed to happen. All you need to do was give me my check. It's for me and my son, and you push me down the stairs. So
Yeah.
it happened. It was my reflexes. And because of all of what you've done for me, done to me for years, and I'm fighting back, and you're overpowered for me. Now, this man was 6'3", 250 pounds. And little
Ooh.
old me, I'm 5'2.5". At the time, I was about 125 pounds.
Oh yeah, you was itty bitty.
Yes,
That's a big man too.
yes. And he was tall and muscular, very nice looking. And I was attracted to all of that, despite the
Hmm.
age difference and the money. So I was able to drive away. My apartment was maybe about 15, 20 minutes. So I'm like, okay. So I'm panicking. I'm at the house. Our son is with his mother. So I don't know what to do. So my instincts kicked in. I'm starting to pack a duffel bag. And at that time we had pagers. So
Hmm.
he would page me, and the numbers you could actually page where it turns into a word. And he was like, you going to jail? I'm calling the police. Well, yes. She convinced him to call the law on me. They
Hmm.
came out, and he told me every step of the way, yep, they looking for you. I did not believe it. So I had a good friend of mine to contact the police department to see if there was, if they
A
were looking
warrant.
for me, a
Okay.
warrant. Absolutely. So absolutely, there was one out for attempted M,
Oh wow.
first degree, and this was all before OJ. Normally, now the state will pick it up, but back then the person can actually drop the charges. So
Yeah.
I went on the run for 4 months.
Oh wow.
I went into hiding because my life was on the line. And at that time, I had one son, and I believe he was probably 3 or 4 years old at the time. And then I started to get flashbacks of, the history and how we met. I mean, I just started replaying, and how did it end up to where I have a warrant for first degree M,
Hmm.
and he was the one really abusing me.
Hmm.
So on the run for 4 months, and after a while, I started to reach out, have a third party to reach out to his family, like talk to him. He was standing on business. He wanted to see me down, but I think he wanted to see me go down. One, because I left him and I was the ride or die doing what he was doing at that time. But then this woman, the child's mother that he was with, he had more love for her than he did for me. So she convinced him, pursue the charges, pursue the charges.
Wow.
I stayed on the run because it all started with domestic abuse. And it was by way of him doing what he did to me that led me to almost ruining my life all because I wanted to get my mail. And I go back and I think about it right now. I could have spent at least at that time, I think I could have spent between 10 and 20 years just on that, even though he didn't pass. He still has a scar today. He survived. He had about 150 stitches just in his wrist alone, to put his wrist
Wow.
back into place. But bringing it forward, ever since that moment, I'm married now for 18 years. I always advise, please do not touch me. Please
Mhm.
don't. I don't like being in toxic situations, because it could cost you or I our lives. We have children. This is,
Yep.
I mean, if we're done, we're done. Let's co-parent and things like that. Because had I had taken it further, I could be, or had I gotten caught, I could have spent 10 to 20 years of my,
Wait.
uh-huh.
So you didn't like, okay, I heard you say you was on the run for like 4 months. Can you
Yes.
go back to that? Like what happened? Like what was the
Yeah.
outcome?
Yes, so I was on the run for 4 months. I stayed in hiding. I was in hotels. I was staying with friends that he didn't know about. So eventually, I had the third parties to start to reach out to him and his family. He was standing on business, and eventually, his mother, my son's grandmother, she eventually convinced him. It took a while to say, "Hey, you shouldn't do this. I mean, it's done. You are right, let her get a pass, like, what you did to her." So he was eventually in contact with one of my friends and asked to speak with me, and it took me about another month to trust that he would drop the charges. He said, "Hey, if you got to go up there with me," the detective said I could drop the charges. I didn't believe him. So eventually I just prayed and prayed, and I said, "Lord Jesus, if I go up here with this guy, please don't let him say it's me and I'm standing right here with him."
Mhm.
So
So
eventually, uh-huh.
So not to cut you off, how long after that happened? Like, what was the time frame of you? So it only like 4 months later, because I heard you say you was on the
Right,
run for 4 months. So it
right.
had been 4 months, and he was able to not go through with it.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I was on the run for 4 months, and for a whole month, he was, "Nope, you going to jail, you going to jail." So I changed my beeper number, my pager number, so I couldn't get any more pages. I didn't know if I could be tracked or anything. So I got rid of the beeper number, got a new beeper, and my friends started to reach out to his family within that 30 days of it happening. So a whole 30 days, he's standing on business. So it was basically 2 months from the actual incident where we went to the police department together for him to drop the charges. So it was 30 days of them trying to convince him, and nope, no, no. So it was the following month after that. So in total, it was a total of 6 months, 4 months on the run, 1 month of trying to convince him. And then because I didn't trust that he would be a man of his word to drop his charges, so it took me another 30 days.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So it took me another 30 days to be really convinced that he would drop the charges. So by that 30th day, I agreed to meet with him, but I would meet with him at the police station. And he came over to my car, and he really felt remorse. And I was scared because I didn't know if we walked in there, he was going to tell the detective, "Here she is right here." So I told him. And at this point, I'm really on the defense. I told him that when we walk in there, if you tell this detective that I'm the woman that's standing here that has the warrant out for her, I said, my family on the back in the Midwest, they will handle you and your family. And he believed that. So he went in and he talked to had the detective. So we waited about 20, 30 minutes. And I remember it was a tall white guy. He told him who he was, and he remembered him from talking to him on the phone. And he said, "Hey, that's my son's mother. I really don't want to go through this. We've been going through a lot, prior to this, and I just want to drop the charges." And we were there. Literally, I was shaking in my boots for at least 2.5 hours. The detective would go back, "Hold on, I'll be back." Be gone for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. They'd come back. It was a back and forth, and he was trying to convince him, this is serious. Women do this all the time. She could come back and really, do further harm. So at that time, he was trying to convince him to keep the charges, and they would eventually locate me. Well,
Wow.
with my prayers to God, and he did keep his word. He dropped the charges. Eventually, I don't know how long it took before the warrant was uplifted, but it was eventually uplifted, and I felt like a free woman. But it was all due to the toxicity, him hitting me trying to get away. And when I did, he would still want to be in this violent situation. But when he got involved with another woman, he never called the police, and I did. I just wanted my AFDC check at that time. And because of his actions, I spazzed out, and it led me to doing what I did. Do I regret it? I'm 50% on, yes, I regret it. But at the same time, I feel like I was able to get him back. And the other 50% is, yeah, you got him back, but you almost lost your life existence for 10 or 20 years. So, but today, unfortunately, our son is 39 years old, and we don't have any communication with his father. The last time we did have communication was back in 2022, and that was because my son was hit by a car, and he is now a traumatic brain injury survivor.
Oh, wow.
So when I did see his father, he came to the hospital, and he calls me Cray Cray now. And he showed me his wrist. He said, "I'll never forget this ever again." He said, he said, I never thought that you would harm me in the way that you did. And he said, "I've never hit a woman ever again in my life." And I told him, I said, I'm glad that you forgave me. It's been a long time now. However, you have to understand, us as women, we love extremely hard. And when we love hard, we wear our heart on our shoulders, on our sleeves.
X.
And then when we love you so hard, you mistreat us, you abuse us, you give us false hope and promises. And then, eventually some of us, we just walk away. But a person like me at that time, I unfortunately spazzed out, not because of the woman, but because you tried to hit me again, and I wasn't taking anymore. But I figured out the situation, and I'm thriving today. And he still has a scar, and he'll never forget it. So I'm happy about
Yep. And you know what? Let me
Uh-huh.
ask you this. How old? I remember you saying you was like 18 when you got with him. How old were you when that incident happened with the box cutter?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say I was 2021, because I think my son was probably 3 or 4. So I'm gonna say I was 21, 22, somewhere up in
Okay,
there.
you was young. Yeah, you
Yeah,
was really young.
I was extremely young. I had my son at 18, and I was running before I got pregnant with my son. Kind of took a brief stop, once I got to my second trimester, but after that, I was running again. And after this situation, and when I left and moved on, and this situation happened, I was no longer running. And come to find out, he was 8 years older than I was. So
Yeah. I remember you saying that. It's
yeah,
crazy because it took for what happened with you damn near amputating his wrist for him
yeah.
to say, "Hey, I'll never put my hands on another woman."
Yes, and he's reminded of that every single day. I don't feel any joy in having to do that, but it brought me to a place where I was protecting me. I
Yep.
I'm a fair skinned woman like yourself, and to try and continuously like damage my face, blacken my eyes and have me wearing glasses around the family and, pretending that I'm okay. Enough was enough, and I blacked out and I did what I did. I regret doing it because I almost lost my life for 10 or 20 years, but he'll always have that scar, 150 stitches. His wrist was literally hanging off because the veins are there, and I had
Wow.
ruptured one of the veins, so he had to go into emergency surgery, the whole 9 yards. But he'll never forget me, that's for sure.
That's why I'm shocked that he even, especially back in those times, because everything is so much more advanced now, like
Right.
even in the medical industry. But the fact that he even still had was able to have movement in that hand is crazy.
Yeah, well, he's right now today. I haven't seen him in a while, but when that happened with my son and he came to the hospital, and when there was some downtime and my son was in surgery, I saw his wrist. So his hand, he could still move it, but he doesn't have movement like he did before because in the process of the cut, I guess I damaged some nerves as well. And
Yeah.
has to put cream and take some pain pills. I think he had to get therapy, but he still has that nerve damage in his hand from that incident.
Okay. And if you don't, okay, I heard you say that outside of what 2020 when your son had that accident, y'all haven't seen him or he hasn't been in your son's life. That's the entire time. Your
That
son
was
is 39 now. You
Yeah,
said
my son will be 40 this year. So even after that, and to be 100% honest, he was the type of man until this very day. He was the type of man, if I'm not with you, I'm not coming to see the child if you're with another man.
that's what I wanted to know. Like, what was the reason behind him not being in his child's life?
Yep. If I was with somebody else in my, dating or marriage, he said, I'm not, I guess he says I'm old school. I'm not going to disrespect that man coming to his house to pick up my son, my child, come to your house. And he's always had the opportunity, but because he could no longer control me and have me as a woman, then he decided forever, pretty much, not to be there for my son. When my son became 16, 15, 16 years old, where he was able to drive, he would go and visit his father. They had a on and off relationship, but my son wanted him to be in his life, and that was his right. When my son was in his early 20s, he tried to have a relationship with him up until he was probably 26 years old, and my son would tell me about it. And then outside of that, up until December 19th, 2021, when my son had his car accident, there was no involvement nor communication. And when it happened, I hadn't spoken with this man in many, many years. And me, the woman that I am, I thought that it was right that he be contacted to know what went on with his son, even though he wasn't involved for many, many years. So when I reached out to a family member on Instagram, told them, hey, do you have his number? Something happened with our son. Here's my number. Can you have him to give me a call? And I guess he felt so much guilt the first 4 months that my son was in the hospital. I would have to admit he was there every single day with me. But
Okay.
that's the most that he did. And at that time, my son was 35 years old. But outside of that, moving forward to today's date, he hasn't been to my home to see my son. He hasn't helped with any of his therapy and things of that nature because I'm married. And if I can't be with you, then yeah, that's our son, but I'm not coming to your house. So he's still not involved to this day, but he still has that scar.
Wow. That's crazy. Like, okay, so I heard you say that he had what, four baby mothers, with
Yeah.
including you?
Yes, I'm the third. So prior to, because he was 8 years older than I, he had already had two daughters. So they were real, all of his kids are 3 years apart. So I was the third baby mama, and the fourth baby mama, he met her around the same time that he met me. So he was bouncing back and forth between the second baby mama and the fourth baby mama. So he was bouncing between the three of us. He was done with the first baby mama, so he was bouncing between the three of us. So I've gotten into situations with both of the second and the third, I'm sorry, the second and the fourth baby mama, all because he kept me around, because I do believe he cared, but he wasn't in love with me, but I was in love with him. He kind of, that man, he'll tell you, I love you, baby. And he's giving me the world. The money was there, but they were around his age and I was the youngest one. But he chose the fourth one, and she's the reason that his arm got to where it was, because he had to prove to her he didn't want me anymore. So I'm still beat her up type of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
And
So
they,
mhm.
I was about to say, and they like kind of played into that, like they was helping with antagonizing and all of that.
Yeah, the second baby mama was, and I don't like to toot my own horn, and please forgive me, but it is what it is. I'm a very attractive woman, seasoned woman, even at my age, and I was very so much attractive when I was a teenager and in my 20s. I take very good care of myself, and when I look at these women today, when I've seen them in the past, I don't want to, people use jealousy all the time, but unfortunately, African American women or women in general, for some reason, they have some sort of hate towards you when you don't know them. I was a baby mama, like y'all was a baby mama. None of us was his wife, but there was so much hatred towards me. I think because I had this beauty about myself. That's the only thing I could think of, because outside of that, I don't know why we would get into it. I don't do baby mama drama. I don't like, hey, if you got that over there, that's fine. I'm in my own world and I stay in my own lane. But I have, even prior to the situation that almost cost me 10 to 20 years of my life, I had gotten into altercations with these women about him as well.
Mm-hmm. It could be because it could be based on how he treated you. Like, were there instances where y'all was around each other? Because I heard you say like y'all was basically moving weight on his behalf, and
Right. Right.
so
Yeah, there was never really a situation. The only situations that I can actually recall is, he at his place, you didn't come to his place to pick up what we needed to pick up. So he had a particular location, and when I would go to those location, just by way, I don't know if somebody told them I was coming. One of them just so happens to be there, and he was there. I don't know if they pulled up on him, and then I pulled up because he told me to come to get what I needed to get. And that's when those particular altercations would take place. But him not being a man, he should have grabbed a hold, and because of what we were doing at that time, hey, don't come here not unless I call you. But no matter where I was at that he told me to come to, one of them were there, and boom, there's an altercation. I had a knife pulled on me.
what would they say? Like, what would start the alt? Because you don't seem like the type. Because you
Yeah,
pretty
so
much said you didn't care about them. So,
right.
like, what?
Nope, I didn't care. I will pull up, and it's, to me, I don't call them the N word. I just say Negroidians, right?
Mhm.
And I would pull up, and that be there, that be mother, and all of that rah rah, bitch, then my man, and boop boop boop, and I'm like, wow. So me, I would get out the car. Look, I didn't come here for that. Look, let me. And then he trying to break us up. And of course, if somebody's saying all of this to you, then now I'm popping my stuff back to them. So
Mhm.
now we in a big old brawl of an argument. He's trying to, with his arms stretched out and stuff. And for some reason, he couldn't keep us apart. I believe he intentionally did that because, like, you're 6'3", 250 pounds. How are you not able to keep these little women apart or grab one and pick her up and say, get your butt over there and stuff like that? So every time I pulled up, I'm the number one, I'm his dude, and all of that. And it would always be those things. But I wasn't no longer in a relationship with him, or let's just say neither one of us was, because he was with all of us. But I was the one, I think because I was the youngest one, I was carrying the most weight. I had the most power, I would think. That's the only thing I can think of. I had
Probably so.
I had people under me at that time. I had a lot of the things that they weren't able to get or have at that time. I don't know. So I was deep in it. I was very, very deep in it. And I think I was more of the trustworthy one, but I wasn't the one that he truly loved.
Yeah. It could be a lot. It could have a lot to do with intimidation and,
Right.
just the way you carried yourself. And a
Right.
lot of times in those situations, like, um, leadership. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of women want to be in control
Mm,
based on that man and him being in a position of power and being surrounded by multiple women, especially if they being fed certain things or being manipulated, they probably wanted to be the next closest thing to him. So
I,
if
be-
you was in a position of power and control, amongst the women, then that's probably what it was with intimidation.
I absolutely believe that. And he probably was pillow talking with them as if
Yep.
we wasn't still, spending time together. And nope, she just, she been doing this for a while. I trust her, so she's still a runner. But I don't think that they believe that. I think they was more focused on, like, she's cute. I believe they still together. Whatever they had going on, they believed it within themselves. And I'm a person, I don't like to be in altercations. I like to stay in my lane. But if you approach me, then of course I have to protect myself. But I hate that I was in that type of a situation because it also changed me as a young woman at that time. It could have cost me part of my life and years away from my son, all because of another woman, and also him putting his hands on me. And to be in domestic situations like that, I had to go and get my own healing and, learn who I was, because this was a man that I truly loved. So it took me some time, and it was a long road, but I got through it and I made it through. And I didn't go to the jail and get the clinks on me. And I've never put myself in that type of a situation again. And him as a man, he decided to completely walk away from our son's life. Still to this very day, I'm okay with that because my husband is an amazing man.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good. He had that father figure that stepped up,
e-
And
exactly.
it's so unfortunate because a lot of men, like older men from that generation, they do maintain that mindset where it's like, okay, if another man is in the picture, then I'm gonna just step aside instead of still recognizing that you have to handle your responsibilities, regardless if another man is in the picture. That is your child.
Right. Right. And he kept his word. He stepped aside forever. I kid you not. He stepped aside when it came to trying to co-parent. That was never an option. When he didn't show up, he used to promise my son that he was coming. When he started to disappoint my son, then I had to, console my son. He said he was going to buy me a motorcycle bike and all of these things. I'm coming to pick him up. So I stepped away. And sometimes you have to, if you can't co-parent with the father, if it's toxic and you have kids, or even if you don't have kids, it's easier for me now to say to walk away, but it was harder then. But I
Hmm.
get it now. I get it. I didn't have any mentors. I had
Yeah.
to for myself. Did I go to therapy? No, I didn't go to therapy, but I watched who my mother was at that time. And I always said I would harm, somebody would have to get a black suit for their son if they ever, and it almost cost me. And, you know, I would never put myself in that situation again. I would just walk away, even if it hurts. I would
Mhm.
cry my tears, do what I got to do, sip on a little wine if I have to, but I would never pull up to a house, not even to get a check. Put it in the mail, send it back. I'll update my address. They'll send it to me again. If there's another woman, there's kids involved. If we don't have a third party to, I guess, delegate, transferring and things like that, I wouldn't do it because it can cost you your whole world. It can cost
Yep.
you and your children, your finances, everything. And once you lose it all, it's hard to get it back.
And that's true accountability. And I guarantee you, once that situation happened with the box cutter, and it changed your life, I bet you
Yeah.
move completely different moving
Yeah.
forward, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I did. I haven't been in any trouble. I'm good to go. My credentials are good, and there's no warrant out for me.
That's good. Life lesson, baby. Life lesson. I
Absolutely.
heard you say in the beginning of the live, you recently had the conversation with your kids. Are you open to sharing how that
Yes.
conversation went?
Yes, so I have three sons and one daughter, and my oldest son is the one with traumatic brain injury. So every other weekend we try and do it often, but most often twice a month. My two sons and my daughter would come over. We would cook. We would, family time, game, barbecue, and all of that. So recently, in the last 2 years, because I think they can handle it now. I told them I want to do reminisce time. So they know what reminisce time is. And I talked to them about when I was their age and when I was a teenager, how I did things. I told them about that I was a runner from coast to coast, city, state, and town. I've also told them that I've been put in a situation where I was sitting in the Hollywood Hills in a mansion with a boss king, so to speak, picking up loads and with GUNs being held to our head. So
Oh
I tell
wow.
I tell them these stories because they look at me now, Ma, you not old, Ma, you still look good for your age. And I tell them, I just try and teach them life lessons about being accountable and not to be put in certain situations. And I want them to know what their mother past was and how I regained who I am today and who I should have been so that they don't make these types of mistakes. So
Facts.
they called me a gangster. They was like, "Oh my God, the stories," and I have so many more, but the stories that I do tell them, they like, and they look at me now like I'm a little old lady, like, "Ma, get out of here. You ain't
Mhm.
did none of that." I told them, I said, I got receipts. Don't play with it. Oh, yes, I have. And yeah, I have been, and there's some news articles out there too. So, but I'm gonna leave it right there. But
Listen, you might have to tell me that on the back end because I want to see. I'm intrigued now. But let
yeah,
me say this. Miss
uh,
Erlene said, I'm surprised the state didn't pick that up. Okay, so this happened a long time ago, Miss Erlene. This was what, in the 80s, you said?
yeah. So this was in the late '80s,
Eh,
early '90s. So prior to O.J. Simpson, in that situation, the state didn't pick those types of things up. You were able to go down there back then and say, "Hey, I don't want to file charges. We didn't work it out. I'm good. I'm good." But once the situation happened with O.J. Simpson in '95, and as the years went on, they changed the laws that you can no longer drop the charges, that the state will pick it up.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I was able to get those charges dropped because he went down there. He showed them, "Hey, I'm good," and stuff. So I thank God for that because anytime after O.J. Simpson, I would have been facing some clinks.
Yep, you definitely would have, especially when they was trying to charge you with first
Yep,
degree M,
yep,
right? And but you know what? Not outside of your situation, I'm
mm,
actually glad that they started it to where they changed the laws and started it to where the state can pick up those
right,
type of charges or whatever. Because imagine the people. that especially women in particular that are in abusive situations and they play that game where, we break up, I file charges because he didn't
Mhm.
abuse me, and I go try to drop the charges. And then it happens again. He abused me. And a lot of women would be literally losing their lives, even more so than they already are.
Right, right. Absolutely. And I'm glad that they did that because I think it's going to be good for men and women now. And most men, they don't call the law. And women, there's some abusive women out here,
Thanks.
and men don't call the law. But I would advise every man and every woman, documentation beats conversation. Call the law, get away from him. Don't believe him or her, all that love stuff. Don't let money, get involved, and we can make it work, because if it happened once, it'll happen again and again and again. You got to get to safety. You have to know that you're worthy more than the way you think you are with this person, because it could change your life forever.
That's true. Yep. Yep. Especially if you got kids involved in the midst of that situation, And that's why I say all the time, like, if you do have kids, or once you start having kids, put them first. You have to develop that mindset that, hey, it's no longer about me. I have to think for my kids. And when I say that, not just meaning like think for your kids, but think, as if what could happen if I go to jail? Who ain't nobody gonna take care of your kids like you.
Oh, absolutely.
So, you know,
Yeah. So it's been a journey for me, and if I can go back and I can turn the hands of time, which a lot of people feel like, if I coulda, shoulda, woulda, if I go back and I wouldn't have never gotten involved with the man that was 8 years older than I was. He told me he was like 20 or 21 at that time. So I didn't think that that was too far off. I wouldn't have got involved in the run. I wouldn't have became a runner and doing all of that, because I've been in some crazy situations, but I'm glad that I was one of the ones to make it out. I never got to the point where I was a user. I never indulged. It was all about the money and doing what needed to be done. But out of that, it became domestic, and I went through a lot. I went through a lot, and I tell my kids all the time these stories, and it's hard for them to believe it, but they are aware, and they're proud of me for being the woman that I am today.
yep, that's a blessing. It's
Yeah.
sometimes, but you know what? We have to go through things in life to open the door for the generational curses to be broken, right? So everything happens for a reason, and I'm a firm believer in everything happening for a reason.
Right.
You going through that open the door for you to break certain generational curses and allow for you to be a better person for your kids.
Absolutely. And at that time I only had my one son, and I moved on with my life. I was able to get all of the credentials and the degrees and everything, and raising my son. And then I got married for the first time when my son was 9.5 years old. And then we had a family, and then that didn't work out, but that was never domestic, because now I'm mature and I'm a woman. But even in that marriage, and I'm going to be honest, once I got married, because I'm in my second marriage now, because my first husband passed away, um, he tried to sabotage that marriage. He stalked me in that marriage, even after the incident.
Wow.
Even after the incident. And there's so much, I mean, and I can go on and on and on, but I couldn't believe when I thought that I went on with my life. And he started at some point contact me here, contact me there. He wanted to see our son, but I knew it wasn't about the son. He really wanted me. I think he had love for me in a way where he just wanted to be with me and not anybody else to have me. To this day, he hates my guts.
Yep.
Till
It
this
can
day,
happen like that too.
yeah, Yeah, he hates my guts, but I made it through the situation by the grace of God, and I'm well seasoned now. And look, I'm not touching nobody. I ain't going nowhere. I'm a grandmother. I have grandkids, and I've come a long way. And that situation taught me a lot to not remain. When I see toxicity now, I'm up out of there. If I
Yep.
ever see it in my marriage, and no marriage is perfect, but if I see the signs and the warnings, oh man, I'm up out of there. I will pack overnight while you at work, and you would never ever even knew I was leaving. I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no coming back for me.
And sometimes that's how it gotta be because even in that last escape, even in the last moment of you trying to get away, it could
Mhm.
end badly. So
Oh yeah.
sometimes you have to pull a Tina Turner and get you and your kids the hell up out of there in the middle of the night.
Oh my,
Okay?
that's a great example because
Listen.
that was yes, exactly. You got to pull a Tina Turner, and that's what I would do currently if I was in that type of a situation because my life means so much to me and my children and where I am and what I have today, and to allow someone to hit and be in a toxic situation because our minds are very we can condense a lot, but it gets to a point where our brain, depending on what that person has said, it could trigger you without you not even knowing it. And you wind up doing something and then after the fact regretting it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you, it's kind of like you turned into you're this person now, but then in a heartbeat, you did something, and then when you wake up out of it, you're in this fog and you wake up out of it, you're like, oh my God, I did what?
Yep.
Now by this time it's too late.
Yep, impulsiveness,
Yeah,
impulsive behavior
right.
mixed with rage
Yeah.
can cause you to black out and do something that you will regret later.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, and that's why, let me give an example. If you ever notice, like on movies, whenever someone like is accidental, not intentional, but when people will be in situations and they unalive that person, and then there's a moment where they're in complete shock.
Right. Right.
That's your brain saying, "Hey, wake
Yep.
up. This
Yep.
wasn't supposed to happen." You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's what impulsive impulsiveness mixed with rage does.
Exactly. And it's sad because a lot of people are still doing that today, and they think that what they're doing is right, and then they come bouncing out, I'm okay. And I know you're not okay, because the
Hmm.
sad part about it is that it's going to happen again, but that next time it's going to be a lot worse.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
going to be worse than before. So I would advise anybody who's in a toxic situation, guess what? Somebody else can love you and they can love you better. Get
Yep.
out. I know it's easier said than done, but you have to think about not just your children, but think about yourself. Because if you're not here, whether it be, where you're unalived or you're incarcerated, think about your children. How much does your children really mean to you? Do you really love your children? Because if you do, you would get out, you wouldn't do certain things, you wouldn't crash out, you wouldn't show up to their house, not even for the kids diaper bag that possibly got left there. Buy another diaper bag. Buy,
Facts.
buy some more diapers. Don't go over there, even if you think that there's another woman there. Had I known back then that she was there, I wouldn't have never went over there.
Hmm.
But I
Yep.
did, and it almost cost me.
Hmm. Because you
Yeah,
never know how where those emotions will take you, because it's one thing for you to think about something like that, but when you are deeply in love, and this takes me back to the saying that women love harder than men, and
yeah,
you expect certain things, and it's like you it's like it sends you into some type of emotional frenzy mentally, right? That's
right,
why I speak on women being in trances when they're under that manipulation,
right.
because it's a real thing.
Oh yeah,
It is a real thing.
it's kind of like, and the way I can only describe it, I had an out of body experience.
Mhm.
I had an out of body experience. I wasn't myself. all I had was a flashback. Oh, he's about to hit me again and stuff like that. So in the midst of it, you go from 0 to 60, and it all was because it was a simple situation. And then you find out that, oh my God, the police coming, I'm going, and stuff like that. So sometimes we have to take a step back. Should I take that drive over there?
Yep.
Should I be calling him? Should I be sending the text messages or the emails? Should I keep FaceTiming? Sometimes we just got to sit in our own SHIT and take accountability. Okay, he said he loved you. Okay, it's over. The signs are there, but sometimes we refuse to see what's toxic. We think toxicity is love.
Yep.
It's
Love does not hurt.
Exactly. It does not hurt. Love is supposed to make you smile. You're supposed to have joy. No situation is perfect. But if a man shows you, believe him. If a woman shows you, believe her.
Come
Get
on.
out, because it can go both ways.
That's a whole word, baby. It sure can. Love does not hurt. Stand firm on that, on those words. Love will never hurt. Love is not confusing. Love will not have you stressing. Love will not have you in a hospital or a clinic. Okay? None of those things. So
Absolutely.
if you got to question love and the, what surrounds it, because love is an action word. So
Mhm.
anytime you got to question the actions of others when they are saying they love you, then guess what? 9 times out of 10, it's the wrong word. It ain't love though.
Oh no, it's not word, and you said a mouthful, and that's it, and that's all. Love does not hurt. Love is a feel good. Look. People could tell me they love me all the time now. Action speaks louder than words for me. When you show
Come on.
me, show me. That's the way you could tell me. You could tell me, yeah, I love you too, but I also love my pet too.
Mhm.
And my pet shows me that he loves me. He shows me affection. And it
Yep.
doesn't mean that you have to financially show me. It could be the smallest things. But love
Yep.
doesn't hurt. Love doesn't hit. Love is not violence. Love is not arguing all the time. Love is not going back and forth and slamming doors and punching holes in the walls. And that's not love. It's toxic. And sometimes two people are just not meant to be together, even if they've had children together.
Facts. And that's the issue. A lot of people be trying to force situations when that person is not their person.
Right.
It's sad, It's sad. It's unfortunate and it's sad, but like I still don't critique it too hard, because we human at the end of the day. We still human, but let go. When you see it's bad, let go before the worst happens, or at least try it once you start seeing the signs.
Right. Right. I told
Yep.
I 100% totally agree. And it takes some time, but if you don't, I didn't have anybody in my corner to assist me, in growing past this. It took some time. It took a lot of tears. It took a lot of me bumping my own head. But what really kept me going is because I put myself through nursing school. I got my CDL. I started going in avenues where, that kept me busy, even though I was a mom of one at that time. And as long as I kept myself busy and being a mother, I didn't have time to think about what he was doing and wanting to go back and all of that. So I would suggest getting involved in something, being a better parent. you know Social media is the devil, but hey, we all make money on social media, and that's fine and dandy, but you're only going to heal if you turn off the light switch, sit in the dark with just you and God, and get you some help. Surround yourself around people who are truly going to hold you accountable for your actions. Don't blame the man. You're not with the man. God will handle him, but you got to do what you need to do in order to be a better person, a better mother, and a better woman. Because if you don't, 6 months from now, 30 days from now, the same toxicity that you are in right now or was in, it's going to be there, and you're going to be a repeat offender doing what you know not you should be doing.
Yep.
I'm
That's
not a
true.
repeat offender. I am good. And I wish it never happened, again, but it is what it is. But I'm not gonna let a man hit on me. I'm not gonna let a man cheat on me. If you show me the signs, I see them automatically. I'm up and out of there, like you said, like Tina Turner, and it's best for me. It's best for my children and my grandchildren, and for anybody out of there. I currently know somebody who I just found out 4 days ago that they're in another state in a domestic violence situation. And it's
Mhm.
not the first time, but they're in a domestic violence home right now. So I'm trying to see what it is that I could do to assist. But this person hasn't taken accountability for constantly returning.
Yeah. So they still in the cycle, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm just laying low because I could help you through it, but until you want help for yourself, there's nothing else anybody else can do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, okay, Miss, let me say this because I got Miss Nancy. I see you just joined, Miss Nancy, but I'm gonna have to continue this live tomorrow, y'all, because we almost at the 2 hour mark, and I have to go run an errand with my mom. So I'm gonna have to do a part two. I'm gonna have to do it tomorrow because I don't want to have to rush, you with your story time, Miss Nancy. So email me back and let me know if you'll be able to join tomorrow. She's in the back office, so I hope she can hear me because I don't know if she's still in the chat, y'all. But I'm gonna have to stop this one. Do you have any last words that or any advice that you would like to give young women that could potentially be going through a situation or in the healing process or any of that?
Well, the best advice that just sits on the top of my head right now is first you got to stop and think, look at your children, and think about what's most important to you. And when you look at your children, and if they're really important to you and you really love your children, you'll take accountability for what it is that you're doing that's causing some of the situation. And you would do it not just for you, but you would do it for your children. Don't contact the person, even if it hurts not doing it. Get rid of all of his or her pictures out of your phone. If you have them on your social medias, block their phones. If you have to have a court order, have a third party to do it. Get rid of all of the actual contact with that person. It's going to take some time because you have some kids, but you have to do it. Get a trustworthy third party to step in that will be mutual with the both of you guys, not somebody that's just going to be in favor of you. Stop listening to people who are not in your shoes, because people will promote the toxicity instead of helping you. Those are not your friends. Get rid of them as well. Surround yourself with people who are going to hold you accountability, tell you when you're wrong, people who are going to assist in seeking and helping you in the best way to get you through your healing process. I don't care if it takes 6 months or 6 years.
Yep.
Just do it.
Yep. That's true. That's some good advice. Thank you for that. Wow. I am just, your story was wow. Like, wow. I am floored because I would have never expected that. I would have never expected the whole you being a runner and a Raffica for rugs. Look at me with the keywords.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. I shock myself to this day. Like, I really, really did that. So when I get down nitty and gritty with my children and I tell them, they was like, no, ma, no, you didn't. And they're really amused because I got some stories, and they know that they're true because my older son has told them, because he has certain vivid memories from when he was younger as well. And
Yeah.
people don't think, you think because your children are younger, they don't remember. But my son, long before his accident, he said, "Yeah, mine used to be, man, my ain't no joke."
With the
So
movers and the shakers.
exactly. So they know that it to be true because he was the only child at that time. Even though he was young, as he got older, he started to tell me, "Ma," because he started to indulge and run, and and I had to tell him, like, no, he was like, "Ma, you used to do it." So eventually, he had to learn his lesson along his journey. So the stories are true, and you just got to find your place in life. You got to know your worth. You got to know who you are. And it took me a long time, but I'm here today, baby. And I smile and I tell my story to anybody who wants to hear it.
Yep. Yep. You have a testimony for real. That
Thank you. Thank you.
wow. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy that you are in a place of peace and love and healing, and just a good example for your babies. Wow. Like I love when I hear success stories. And then I ain't even talking about with like bit for business purposes. I'm talking about just success stories in life, period. Overcoming,
Oh,
it
yeah.
just warms my little heart, child.
Thank you so much. And my and I know you got to go and stuff, but on my final note leading out, I have so many testimonies when it comes to that time. So I've been telling my husband, I'm gonna start me a podcast. I'm gonna start me a podcast. And for our 18th wedding anniversary back in February, he brought me a podcast system with the mic and everything, so I
Mhm.
could tell my life story because it's very, very interesting. And I'm glad that to be able to grace your panel today to come on and share a little bit with it. I really, really appreciate it so much. And I've been following you for a while. I'm on branch 8 with Don most of the time, peeking in. And from time to time, I'll drop down in the chat. Most often I don't like to be seen, but when
Mhm.
you hear me, you hear me.
Yep, yep. I trust me, I see you. Okay? I see you because you are a blessing to me. And I don't know if you want me to say that, but thank you so much. Like I'll
You
be
will.
seeing you. I'll be seeing you.
No problem.
So thank you. And I don't know if Miss Amber is still in here, but thank you also to Miss Amber for joining us and telling your story. She was extremely nervous, y'all. And I know I have a lot of supporters that have stories to tell. Like if you feel like you are at a point where, it won't trigger you. Like, cause I know it's very triggering to tell these type of stories, but if you are at a point where you can speak on it, don't be afraid to speak on it because you never know who you can help with just your testimony. Don't rush it now. Like I said, we're going to be here when you're ready to tell your story. But if you are at that point, don't be afraid. There's no reason to be afraid. And it even helps letting it out. Why y'all think people advise people to go to therapy?
Mhm.
Because you get to unpack a lot. And you never know who is in the chat that experienced something similar, and then you could start, y'all start talking about it and comparing, and it's just refreshing. And you never know who you can help. So email me whoever want to tell their story. We are open to hearing it. I love y'all down. Okay. Periods. This was a great live. I love doing live streams like this, even though it's tear jerkers and a little triggering, but I feel like it's also very helpful, you know. So, but thank you again, Granny Swell, for
No
joining
problem.
us.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate it. And I'm
You're
going to back to
welcome.
the replay so I can hear Amber's story as well. God bless everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys down in the chat on the next live.
You too, my girl. See you later.
Bye now.
Okay. Oh, y'all, that was so good. I was not expecting that from our girl. Y'all got some real life testimonies out here. Like y'all got some stories, baby. For real. And y'all, I love this, y'all. I really do love this. Like I said, you never know who you can help when just putting your story out there, telling your story. You never know who's listening. Because even with testimonies, you are dropping gems, you giving advice, you speaking from experience, and you telling the next person what not to do, the red flags, whether it be intentional or unintentional, you putting out certain red flags, all of that. That's why they have motivational speakers and women that are survivors that speak out on different panels and at these different meetings and stuff to be able to help other women, to encourage other women to come forth. And also a lot of times what people don't realize is when you do tell your story, you never know, especially when it's dealing with predators and PDF files and stuff like that. Putting that on Front Street sometimes, especially when you expose the PDF file, a lot of times it helps catch them up and prevent them from accumulating other victims, right? So that's why it's real good to give your testimony and talk about certain things when and if you are ready. Okay, y'all? But I love this live stream. I will do a part 2 tomorrow. So if you want to join the panel and give your story, if you are ready, email me. Y'all know my email is, they put it in the chat, and it's also on my community wall. If you go look on one of my posts on my community wall, I did post my email. So just email me and let me know, and we'll set it up for tomorrow. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being tuned in. Even though these type of live streams don't get a whole lot of traffic, we had a good bit of people in here. Almost 300 people was in here for damn near the majority of this live, and that is good to me because of the topic. Okay, it just shows that a lot of people are interested in hearing these type of live streams. So we're gonna do them more often because I know I have a lot of supporters with stories to tell. Y'all, I really want to put together a panel of women who went to prison. I remember doing that live stream with Chandra, and I know Chandra is one. So I probably can get her to come up, and whoever else, if you have a prison story about a mistake you made in your lifetime, please email me if you are open to sharing. You can even share anonymously. You don't have to get on camera. You can put a alias name in, the whatchamacallit, to where people don't know it's you. Okay. So if you open and you've been to jail, or if don't be embarrassed or whatever, because everybody make mistakes. Email me because I really want to put that live together also. I don't want it to just be about us being victims and or survivors. I want to showcase accountability and lessons learned to y'all. Okay. Because we ain't perfect. Women ain't perfect, and men ain't the only ones who do things. Women do stuff too. That's why I'm real big on accountability, y'all, because the only way to learn lessons is to be accountable. And that helps you prevent from repeating the same mistakes. Okay. And also helping other women, young women, preventing them from repeating some mistakes or similar mistakes that you possibly made. Okay. So y'all email me and let me know, even the men. If I know I got like 95% women audience and 5% men. But I would also like to hear from the fellas as well. So hit that email and we're going to set something up. I love y'all, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of y'all Saturday, baby.
Y'all know what time it is. The truth teller in the spot. Always bring the facts. Yeah, she make the fake stop. Stop clearing out the noise. Never let the lie rock. Nope. Say it with me loud. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. Yeah. Wipe them down, pop. It's Lil Park, baby. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. It's Lil Park, baby. Receipts on deck, she gon' air that out. Lil Park, wipe them down. If it's cap in the chat, she gon' call that out. Lil Park, wipe them down. Came with the proof, better watch it now. Lil Park, wipe them down. If it ain't fast, don't come around. Lil Park, baby. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. Lil Park, baby. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. It's Lil wipe them down. Receive so strong that the lies won't let loop up, wipe them down. When she step in the spot, all eyes on her, loop up, wipe them down. Expose real quick, make the face to turn, loop up, baby. Who got the truth? Loop up. Who bring the proof? Loop up. Hands to the left, hands to the right, wipe them down. Club lit up all night, wipe them down. Who got me? She OB, loop up, baby. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. L Park, baby. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. Wipe them down, pop. It's loop up, baby. Truth don't beat, you gon' stand on that. Loop up, wipe them down. Blocking the trolls, never looking back. Loop up, wipe them down. Whole crowd move when the name get loud. Loop up, wipe them down. She the voice of the people and she shut them down. Loop up, baby. Truth too strong, wipe them down. Pop, pop. Crowds sing along, wipe them down. Pop, pop. From the booth, she a beast, wipe them down. Pop, pop. It's loop up, baby. Shut it down, baby.